Francis, I would like to follow up on this.
You have a niece in India?
No, in India, in India, if you send a check, it's an arrogance. They expect you to fly. It doesn't matter. They expect you to be there. If you are not gone, that is, you are abandoned from the society. Going back to Stanley's question, Francis, yeah, we do understand that, there are moments that you try to do that, try to make the right decision, but during that moment, how does one really allow intelligence to do that? Because you get either to the panic mode or you don't see the full picture. So basically your decision quality, like as you said, you make a wrong decision. How does one approach at that moment and and try to make the right decision? They realize it, it takes a period, either they get hurt or they keep making the same because of their pattern. How does one break this barrier?
Well, understand that you cannot really make the wrong decision. So that will remove the fear. Ultimately, it's always the universe making the decision. There is never a personal entity making the decision. So sometimes we are in a hurry to make a decision when the situation is not ripe. So we have to postpone the decision, or we have to make a provisional decision, but not a final decision until we really have to make it. That's why I file my taxes at the last moment. You never know what may happen. So a wrong decision would be a decision that is made forcefully, artificially, when you don't have all the elements at your disposal that are required to make this decision. So sometimes waiting a little longer, and something will happen in the universe that will then bring the puzzle to its completion, and then the decision will be unequivocal. But the most important point is to be of goodwill in your decision-making process. In other words, to try to make the best impersonal decision you can. And that will do it. You are not required to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. But you are required to do your best to be perfect, which is not the same. The perfection is precisely trying to do your best to be perfect. And that, it's the same in art. You look at a work of art, look how imperfect a painting by Cézanne is. I mean, the drawing is a total catastrophe. I mean, the guy, he couldn't put 2 marks straight on a piece of paper. He was the least gifted painter you could imagine in that sense. So, but what touches us and what makes him great, it's his endeavor for perfection, his love for it, that shows through the painting. And when you compare that to this 19th century painter who makes these perfect naked bodies, I mean, there is no life, because there is not this love for perfection that is so obvious in Cézanne's work. So it is the intention that sanctifies the action, that makes the action holy, if you will. So it's the same in your decision. And even if your decision seems to be, in hindsight, a mistake, the universe will take care of the mistake and will turn it into something beautiful. You see. Because ultimately there is only a great symphony, you see. So when the great composer sees a dissonance, he makes sure, she makes sure that it gets followed by a beautiful consonance, that it gets saved, as musicians say. So sometimes one of our apparent mistakes is such a dissonance that the universe will bring it back to harmony, especially when it was not your intention to create such a dissonance.
Thank you, Francis.